From the studios of Foxboro Cable Access, located in the center of Foxborough, Massachusetts, you are watching Around Foxborough.
Hi, I'm your host, Tim Green, and welcome to Around Foxborough. Tonight we have with us Amanda DeAngelis and Thomas Zeno from the Uncommon Theater Company. How are you guys tonight?
Good, thank you for having us.
Amanda and Thomas, can you guys please tell us a little about your history with the Uncommon Theater Company and how it's impacted you?
Sure, I'll go first. So I've been involved with Uncommon since I was in first grade back in 2015 when I did my first show there, Alice in Wonderland Jr. And since then I've been in around 17 shows with them, usually doing multiple shows a year. And yeah, it's been really fun to just grow up with theater and get to see a lot of friends that I made with Uncommon, getting to see them grow with me as I've grown and they've grown. Yeah.
Great answer. How about you, Amanda?
I became involved after college. I was a hairdresser with a degree in theater, and I was into tech stuff, and one of our clients came in and was talking about Uncommon Theater, and they needed a hair person, and I was like, I'm your person. And so I started then, and a few years later, they were looking for a director for one of their shows, and so I started directing and choreographing, and then took a break for a little while, had my own children, and then as my children started to get older, they got involved. They wanted to audition and get involved, and then I just got very involved, you know, more backstage, doing a lot more stuff and some larger roles.
Wow, so you've been around for a long time.
Been around for a while.
I know Uncommon's been around for about 40 years now.
Yes.
What do you think makes it uncommon from maybe other theaters in the landscape?
Doing some research about local theaters, I think a huge difference with Uncommon, not that it's just children's theater, but it's really family orientated. So we really involve siblings, parents, even aunts and uncles. The last couple of shows we've done, we've had extended family involved, not only coming to the shows to support the kids, but also backstage working on some of the shows that we've done. It is a fully run volunteer with the exception of a professional director, musical director, and choreographer. So we really strive to work with the parents of the children that are involved, and we're trying to get more community members involved. If, you know, some people dabble in electric and they know stuff about lighting and they want to get more involved, or stage manager. So we've been really working on getting more people involved, but it's really family run for the most part. Lots of families, the kids audition and then the parents jump in and they work hard to get a production done. So
that's awesome. And Thomas, you recently directed some of the young performers in Finding Nemo Jr. Do you want to tell us a little bit how that went and what you thought about, you know, was it your directorial debut?
Yeah, yeah, that was my first time directing. I'd been acting in shows for 10 years before then, and I had also many times done other behind-the-scenes work, like I was a spotlight operator for a couple of shows. I helped with sound on a show. I did the lighting for another show, and then getting to direct this show, it was an amazing experience because it was exactly what I had grown up with. It was the same format of show that I had started Uncommon with. I started with a young performers show, and I did every young performers show that I was able to, and then I got to direct this one. And it was so amazing helping the kids grow as actors and seeing them grow, and then in the end getting to see this show that I had put so much work into and just thought about so much and worked so hard on, getting to see it performed on the same stage that I had performed at so many times when I was younger was such an incredible experience. And it taught me so much too. Both it taught me a lot about the process of directing, and also like what a director's looking for, what a director wants, which helps in like auditions, and it also helps during rehearsals, making things flow smoother. But then outside of theater, it also helped me with broader skills, like my leadership and confidence have gone up significantly as a result of doing that show. And yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that I've gotten out of this show is I'm a lot more confident in myself and a lot more confident in leading than I was before this show.
It's excellent. It's an excellent answer.
Thank you.
Now, can you guys tell us a little bit more about the upcoming show, Peter Pan and the Star? Peter Pan and the Starcatcher?
Peter and the Starcatcher.
Peter and the Starcatcher, I'm sorry. That's coming up at the Marion Robin Performing Arts Center.
Yeah, it's a really cool show. The basics of it is it's a Peter Pan origin story, but it just there's so much to it. It explores the origin of like every character, with Peter starting out as a nameless orphan and who's really shy and doesn't talk much, and then he grows throughout the show and progressively gets his name and gets a lot more confidence and stronger. And then you also get the origins of other characters like Captain Hook and Smee and Wendy, and just it gives a really cool perspective on how all these characters came to be. And then outside of the writing of the show, the director is really incredible. She's instead of like having a bunch of sets and props that are exactly what they're supposed to be, so much of the stuff is being done by the actors. We symbolize a lot. We use props to mean things other than what they actually are, and like the sound effects. Most of the sound effects in this show get done on stage by the actors, and it's really fun to be a part of, and I'm certain it's going to be amazing to watch as well. And I get to swing from a rope multiple times, which is a lot of fun.
As Peter.
Yes.
That is exciting. Amanda, did you have anything you wanted to say about the show?
I think he
pretty much
pretty much
covered
explained
it.
Yeah. Like the rope pot.
There's a lot of humor and heart in this show. What are some of the moments do you hope that will resonate with the audience, especially with families and maybe some of the younger viewers?
I think that this is a hard one. I think that
you did so good on the previous one.
I think one of the really cool moments in this show is when Peter gets the name Peter, because he gets it from Captain Hook.
He's not called Captain Hook.
No,
right?
he's called the Black Stash.
The Black Stash.
And he inadvertently gives Peter his name while they're having a bit of a like psychological fight where they're each trying to talk the other one down from what they're trying to do. And I think it's just so deep that it's Peter's nemesis that gives him his name. So yeah, I think that's a really cool moment in the show.
Okay. And Amanda, how do you think working on shows like this and other shows you've been a part of help younger kids and kind of grow beyond the stage?
I think it helps in a lot of different ways. Something that we sort of make a big deal about is the ensemble and how important an ensemble is to, a show. And I feel like I have seen Thomas grow. He's a little bit younger than my oldest, and grow from this shy, quiet, he had older siblings, so the little sibling that's there, and now he's gotten these big roles, and he was a huge part of the ensemble. And I think that an important thing that is brought on when you see these kids grow, and one thing that we've seen a lot of is that these kids will do the YPP show, which is our Young Performers show, which is 1st through 6th grade, and they'll kind of get stuck in a good way. Like, oh, I'm going to do next year's show. What's the fall show? It's 2nd through 12th grade. Oh, I can do that show. And then as they get older, we have a spring show that is 7th through 12th grade. So they kind of can grow. It's not like, oh, I did a show and now I'm going to go to the high school and do a show and go here, which they totally can, but we do find that a lot of these kids kind of stay with us and we see them grow. And I think being a part of the ensemble helps because we really try to feature the kids in the different shows in the ensembles. And I think it is, you had asked me earlier about how are we different. Again, I think that goes back to some kids will do a show at the Y, they might do 1 or 2 high school shows, they might have done a show in 4th or 5th grade at their school, but you do find a lot of the kids that are with Uncommon, not only have they been with us for years, but now we have alumni coming back and they're directing shows and choreographing shows, and I think that's pretty impressive to see these kids full circle.
Yeah.
It's really nice, yeah.
That is nice.
To add on to that real quick,
please.
In Finding Nemo, my choreographer, we had been in Uncommon shows together since we were really little, and like one of my funnest moments with her was in The Lion King. We were both hyenas, and during one of the live performances, both of us forgot our entrance on one of the scenes, and the other hyena had to go in there and just improvise that scene without us. And we were like freaking out because we had just missed a scene in a show. But then we eventually ended up as director and choreographer.
Right. Decent improvising, I guess.
Yeah.
Speaking of improvising, you guys also have an improv group.
We do. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, we do. We have, our main group is, I believe, 9th through 12th grade, and we have a young one that we just recently started for middle schoolers to kind of get their feet wet, so to speak. And we do shows, typically it's once a month on a Friday night in Easton. They put on a show and they're hysterical if anyone ever gets a chance to see them. We do advertise on our website and stuff. They're fun. They're a lot of fun. Yeah. I feel like they don't get enough audience. Like, there are sometimes because people will tell their friends and extra people will show up, but I feel like sometimes there's not as many people there to enjoy the show. That's really funny because you don't get a lot of improv, especially kids doing improv locally around here.
Right.
So it's kind of fun.
There's not a ton of it even for adults, truthfully. Have you ever done any of it, Thomas?
No, but I go to most of the performances.
Okay. You're a fan?
Yeah.
Okay. Thomas approves.
Yeah.
What's one more moment from rehearsal, maybe that sticks out to you, Thomas, of something that was very memorable in this show?
There's a lot of moments. I would have to say there was one rehearsal where the director wasn't there, and what we were doing was just reviewing the first couple scenes that we had learned and like helping each other out with lines and getting the blocking and like making sure that we had those scenes down really well. But then by the end of rehearsal, like we'd done everything that we needed to do. We felt good about all those scenes, and we ended up just in a circle with somebody's phone in the middle playing music, and us just like singing along and having fun and bonding with each other. And so even though that wasn't something that really like made our performance better, it got us a lot closer as a cast. And I think that just represents most of our rehearsals pretty well, although most of the time it's a little less than that.
A little more structured.
Yeah.
Amanda, where can people find the Uncommon Theater Company?
You can go online. We are on Facebook. We are on
We're on Instagram.
Instagram, thank you. That's what I was thinking of. They can just Google it, and if they come to one of our shows, we have on the back it'll have like a list of our upcoming shows if they want to get involved or the kids want to audition.
Okay. And when is the show and where can they see it?
It's July 17th through 19th, I believe. And it is at the Marilyn Rodman Performing Arts Center, right in Foxborough Square. Yeah, I think that was, yeah.
That's what I got written down here.
Yep.
And my final question is, if there's anybody that maybe hasn't been to one of these productions before, is there something that you'd like to tell them about the shows or anything like that?
I think just that it'll be really fun. The Uncommon shows are always so fun to watch, because it's I mean, with this one it's teenagers, but in general it's some age range of kids performing a semi-professional show, and they always come out looking really well, and this is very much not an exception. So yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I like that. All right, well, Amanda and Thomas, thank you guys so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, my name is Tim Green. I'm your host of Around Foxborough, and you can watch everything from us at fcatv.org. Thank you so much.